Sūpā Mario Bros.3 is a 1988 platform video game developed and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo Entertainment System video game console. It is the fourth overall installment in the Sūpā Mario Bros. Series. It was first released in Japan on October 23, 1988 and later in North America on February 12, 1990. The game was developed by Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development, led by Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka. Enhanced remakes were later released on the Super NES in 1993 and the Game Boy Advance in 2003. The game has been re-released as a virtual console title for the Wii, Nintendo 3DS, and Wii U consoles. Sūpā Mario Bros.3 centers on plumbers Mario and Luigi who embark on a quest to save Princess Toadstool and the rulers of 7 different kingdoms from the antagonist, Bowser, and his children, the Koopalings. The player, as Mario or Luigi, is able to defeat enemies by stomping them or using items that bestow magical powers. Mario and Luigi are given a wider range of abilities than in previous Super Mario games, including flying or sliding down slopes. In addition, Sūpā Mario Bros.3 introduces numerous elements, such as new enemy characters and the use of a world map to transition between levels, that have reappeared in or have influenced subsequent Mario games. Sūpā Mario Bros.3 is acclaimed by many critics as one of the greatest video games of all time. It was a commercial success upon release, which was partly influenced by its promotion in the 1989 film The Wizard. Sūpā Mario Bros.3 is the third best-selling NES game, having sold over 17 million copies worldwide. The popularity of the game also inspired a short-lived animated television series. Gameplay. Sūpā Mario Bros.3 is a two-dimensional, side-scrolling platform game in which the player controls the on-screen protagonist, either Mario or Luigi. The game shares similar gameplay mechanics with previous titles in the series, Sūpā Mario Bros., Sūpā Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and Sūpā Mario Bros.2, but introduces several new elements. In addition to the running and jumping moves found in past games, the player can slide down slopes, pick up and throw special blocks, and freely climb up and down vines. In addition, with power-ups, Mario can fly and float. Each kingdom serves as a game world that is divided into levels, and an 8th region is included as the final world, Dark Land. The 8 worlds feature distinct visual themes. For example, the second world, Desert Land, contains sand-covered levels with pyramids, while the levels in the fourth world, Giant Land, are populated with obstacles and enemies twice as tall and twice as wide as those in the other worlds. The player navigates through the game via 2 game screens, an overworld map and a level playfield. The overworld map displays an overhead representation of the current world and has several paths leading from the world's entrance to a castle. Paths connect to action panels, fortresses and other map icons, and allow players to take different routes to reach the world's goal. Moving the on-screen character to an action panel or fortress will allow access to that level's playfield, a linear stage populated with obstacles and enemies. The majority of the game takes place in these levels, with the player traversing the stage by running, jumping, flying, swimming, and dodging or defeating enemies. Completing stages allows the player to progress through the overworld map and to succeeding worlds. Each world features a final stage with a boss to defeat. The first 7 worlds feature an airship controlled by one of the Koopalings, while the player battles Bowser in his castle in the 8th world. Other map icons include large boulders and locked doors that impede paths, and several mini-games that provide the player a chance to obtain special power-ups. A new feature is the player's option to save power-up items obtained in mini-games for later use via a menu accessible at the overworld screen. In addition to special items from previous games like the Super Mushroom and the Fire Flower, new power-ups are introduced that provide the player with new options. The Super Leaf and Tanuki Suit give Mario Raccoon and Tanuki appearances respectively and allow him to fly or turn into stone to avoid enemies for a short period of time. Changing into a Tanuki statue while jumping results in Mario pounding the ground and killing whatever enemies are directly under him. This marks the first appearance of the ground pound move in a Mario game, a move that was later given to Yoshi in Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and that later became part of Mario's standard moveset in Super Mario 64 and subsequent games. Other suits include the Frog Suit, which increases the character's underwater speed and agility and improves jumping height on land, and the Hammer Suit, which gives Mario the appearance of the Hammer Bro. enemy and allows him to throw hammers at enemies and resist fire attacks. Super Mario Bros. 3 includes a multiplayer option which allows two players to cooperatively play the game by taking turns at navigating the overworld map and accessing stage levels. The first player controls Mario, while the other controls Luigi. Through this mode, players can also access several mini-games, including a remake of the original Mario Bros. Arcade game, in which one player has the opportunity to steal the cards of another but may lose their turn if they lose the mini-game. Plot and characters. The plot of Super Mario Bros. 3 is described in the instruction booklet. The Mushroom World, the setting of the game, is invaded by the Koopalings, Bowser's 7 children. The Koopalings conquer each of the 7 kingdoms by stealing its king's magical wand and using it to transform him into an animal. Princess Toadstool sends Mario and Luigi to travel to each kingdom, retrieve the stolen wand, and restore its king to normal. During the course of the game, the princess sends notes and special items to Mario and Luigi, as they restore the kings of each kingdom. When the brothers rescue the 7th king, the letter they receive reveals that Bowser has kidnapped Toadstool and is holding her captive in the castle of his own kingdom, Dark Land. The brothers travel through Dark Land, enter his castle, and defeat Bowser in a battle. The game ends with Toadstool being freed from the castle. On September 10, 2015, Miyamoto confirmed a fan theory stating that the entirety of Super Mario Bros. 3 takes place as a stage play. The game opens with curtains being pulled, featuring obstacles hanging from the catwalk, objects bolted to the background, and shadows on the skyline. When Mario finishes a level, he walks off the stage. Development. Super Mario Bros. 3 was developed by Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development, a team that consisted of over 10 people, and took more than 2 years to complete. Developer Shigeru Miyamoto served as director. He worked closely with the designers and programmers during the conceptual and final stages, encouraging a free interchange of ideas. Miyamoto considered intriguing and original ideas to be key to creating a successful game. The game was designed to appeal to players of varying skill levels. To assist less skilled players, bonus coins and one-ups are more abundant in earlier worlds, while later worlds present more complex challenges for more experienced players. In the two-player mode, the players alternate turns to balance play time. The development team introduced new power-ups and concepts that would give Mario the appearance of different creatures as a means of providing him with new abilities. An early idea changed Mario into a centaur, but was dropped in favor of a raccoon tail that allows limited flying ability. Other costumes with different abilities were added to his repertoire, and levels were designed to take advantage of these abilities. New enemies were included to add diversity to the game, along with variants of previous enemies, such as Goombas, Hammer Brothers, and Koopa Troopers. Some of the enemies designed for Super Mario Bros. 3 were inspired by the team's personal experiences. For example, Miyamoto stated that the chain chomp enemy, a tethered ball and chain creature that lunges at the player when in close proximity, was based on a bad childhood experience he had with a dog. Bowser's children, the Koopalings, were designed to be unique in appearance and personality. Miyamoto based the characters on 7 of his programmers as a tribute to their work and efforts. Nintendo of America named the Koopalings after well-known musicians. For example, the characters Ludwig von Koopa and Roy Koopa are named after Ludwig van Beethoven and Roy Orbison respectively. The character graphics were created with a special graphics machine that generated a collection of all the graphical shapes used in the game. Shapes in the collection were assigned numbers that the game's code uses to access, and are combined to form complete images on the screen in real time. The Sūpā Mario Burazāzu cartridge uses Nintendo's custom MMC3 ASIC to enhance the NES capabilities. The MMC3 chip allows for animated tiles, extra RAM for diagonal scrolling, and a scanline timer to split the screen. The game uses these functions to split the game screen into 2 portions, a playfield on the top and a status bar on the bottom, allowing the top portion to scroll as the character navigates the stage while the bottom portion remains static to display text and other information. During 1988, a shortage of ROM chips, along with Nintendo of America's preparation of a version of Sūpā Mario Bros. 2 for Western gamers, prevented Nintendo from performing various North American game releases according to their original schedules. The delayed products included Sūpā Mario Bros.3 and, according to Nintendo Power, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. The delay, however, presented Nintendo with an opportunity to promote the game in a feature film. In 1989, Tom Pollock of Universal Studios approached Nintendo of America's marketing department about a video game movie, inspired by Nintendo video game competitions. Pollock envisioned a video game version of Tommy for younger audiences. Nintendo licensed its products for inclusion in what would become the film The Wizard. During the movie's production, the filmmakers requested and were granted approval from Nintendo regarding the script and portrayal of the company's games. Sūpā Mario Bros.3 was one of the products shown in the film, and was used in a final scene involving a video game competition. The film was released in December 1989, between the Japanese and English versions of the game. Reception. Upon release, the game was lauded by the video game press. It was widely considered to be one of the best games released for the NES, and even of all time. Computer and video games editors Paul Rand, Tim Boone and Frank O'Connor awarded the game a 98/100ths, praising it for its gameplay, replayability, sound and graphics. Boone commented that the game is nearly flawless in its utterly stupendous incredibility and absolutely impossible to put down for anything less than a fire alarm, and even then you find yourself weighting down the odds. Rand called Sūpā Mario Bros.3 the best video game ever, labeling it the Mona Lisa of gaming, and stating that it is astoundingly brilliant in every way, shape and form. O'Connor stated that the game makes Sonic the Hedgehog look like a wet Sunday morning and even gives the Super Famicom's Mario 4 a run for its money. Julian Rignall of Mean Machines referred to Sūpā Mario Bros.3 as the finest video game he had ever played, citing its addictiveness, depth, and challenge. A second Mean Machines reviewer, Matt Regan, anticipated the game would be a top-selling title in the United Kingdom, and echoed Rignall's praise, calling it a truly brilliant game. Regan further stated that the game offered elements which tested the player's brains and reflexes, and that though the graphics were simple, they were incredibly varied. In a preview of the game, Nintendo Power gave it high marks in graphics, audio, challenge, gameplay, and enjoyability. Sūpā Mario Bros. 3 has received universal acclaim from modern critics who also considered the title to be one of the best games of all time. Edge magazine considered Super Mario Bros. 3 Nintendo's standout title of 1989, and commented that its success outshone the first Super Mario Bros. Sales milestone. The first title sold 40 million copies, but was bundled with the NES. They lauded the overworld map as an elegant alternative to a menu to select levels. All Games Skylar Miller praised the game's level design, graphics, music, and non-linearity. Dengeki referred to the game as a popular title and expressed excitement over its re-release on the Game Boy Advance system. The items hidden in the game's levels, such as the warp whistles, were well received. Rignall regarded them as part of the game's addictiveness, and Chef stated that finding them provided a sense of satisfaction. Both Screw Attack and Games Radar ranked it the best NES game ever made. Games Radar claimed that while Super Mario Bros. Defined its genre, Super Mario Bros. 3 perfected it. Criticism focused on particular aspects of the game. Miller considered the inability to save progress a drawback, since gamers will have to play the entire game in one sitting if they wish to complete it. The game's difficulty was also criticized by some critics. Sales. Super Mario Bros. 3 was a commercial success and became one of the video game industry's best-selling games. Its inclusion in the Wizard served as a preview and generated a high level of anticipation in the United States prior to its release. Levi Buchanan of IGN considered Super Mario Bros. 3's appearance in the film as a show-stealing element, and referred to the movie as a 90-minute commercial for the game. By 1993, the game had sold 4 and 7 million unbundled units in Japan and the United States respectively. In the United States alone, the game generated over $500 million in revenue for Nintendo. Author David Sheff commented that, in music industry terms, the game went platinum 11 times. Including bundled units, the NES version of the game sold over 17 million copies. Game Informer reported in their October 2009 issue that the Virtual Console version had sold 1 million copies. As of 2011, Super Mario Bros. 3 remains the highest-grossing non-bundled home video game to date, having grossed $1.7 billion, adjusted for inflation.